Enter the Large Hadron Collider.
According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the Large Hadron Collider is the biggest machine on the planet.
This thing is huge. It's a 27-kilometer underground ring located at a CERN facility near Geneva, Switzerland.
They said it was absurd. Billions of dollars for a tunnel under Europe, just to smash invisible particles together. Critics mocked it as the world's most expensive light bulb, even warning it could destroy reality itself. But deep beneath Geneva, the Large Hadron Collider roared to life. Protons raced at nearly the speed of light, colliding with the force of creation. And then, something impossible appeared. Signals resembling mirror particles, the theorized twins of our universe. For the first time, scientists realized they weren't just smashing atoms. They may have brushed against a boundary we were never meant to cross. The collision that should not exist. They laughed when the first plans for the world's largest particle collider were drawn. They said it was absurd, a billion-dollar tunnel buried under the French-Swiss countryside just to smash protons together. Critics dismissed it as the world's most expensive science fair project. Some even whispered about the dangers, claiming it might create black holes or rip open reality itself. But while the mockery rang out, engineers and physicists at CERN quietly persisted. They built the Large Hadron Collider, a 27-kilometer ring buried deep underground, capable of accelerating particles to 99.9999999% the speed of light. Each beam made more than 11,000 laps per second. And then, they crossed the beams. In that moment, two invisible bullets, smaller than atoms, yet holding unimaginable energy, met head-on. The collision recreated conditions that last existed less than a billionth of a second after the Big Bang. This was not science fiction. This was humanity daring to replay the birth of the universe itself. And then, something extraordinary happened. Earlier this year, in one of those high-energy collisions, detectors at CERN recorded a signal so bizarre that veteran scientists at Atlas and CMS stopped in their tracks. It looked like three mirror particles appearing at once. Not one, not two, but three, colliding in a way no one thought possible. Mirror particles had long been a theoretical curiosity, a shadow version of matter whispered about in research papers, but never confirmed. Yet here they were, or at least something that mimicked them perfectly. Imagine a universe folded against ours, particle for particle, proton for proton, electron for electron, but inverted, unseen, untouchable. For decades, scientists suspected such a shadow world might explain dark matter or restore symmetries broken at the dawn of time. Now, it seemed like we had brushed against it, however briefly. The implications were staggering. For the first time, we may have glimpsed a boundary that physics itself had built into reality. A wall we were never meant to cross. A wall that might protect us, or one that tempts us to see what lies beyond. The forbidden boundary. To understand why this discovery rattled the scientific world, you first have to imagine the mirror particle itself. Take any particle you know, say, the electron. It has mass, it has a charge, and it has a property known as handedness or chirality. Now imagine a twin of that electron with the same mass, but with the opposite handedness, like a left glove turned into a right glove. This twin does not interact with light, does not respond to electromagnetism, and hides in a shadow universe that coexists with our own. Mirror particles are not science fiction clones walking backward in time. They are the silent doubles of everything we know, woven into a reality just beyond reach. The collision at CERN that appeared to produce three of them simultaneously was like tapping on a glass wall and hearing an echo from the other side. It was fleeting, but unmistakable. The signal carried all the hallmarks of a hidden interaction. This was more than a laboratory curiosity. This was a glimpse of a parallel cosmos intricately linked with ours, one that may have been running beside us since the first sparks of the Big Bang.
Big Bang Theory. It is the modern theory in terms of the origin of Earth. If you remember how nebula hypothesis is.
But alongside wonder came fear. Because this collision did not just suggest the existence of mirror matter, it revealed a threshold, a boundary. Physics seemed to whisper, "Cross this line, and you may not like what you find." Some researchers compared it to standing on the lip of a cliff, peering down into fog, unable to see if the ground beneath you is solid or ready to crumble. Others raised an ethical alarm. Should humanity even attempt to push further? Should we probe into regions of reality where the laws of physics themselves appear to falter? It is a haunting dilemma. On one side lies knowledge, the chance to explain dark matter, to unify broken symmetries, maybe even to tap into new forms of energy or communication across invisible worlds. On the other side lies risk, the possibility that by colliding particles at higher energies or in stranger ways, we might push past a safeguard woven into the universe itself. The firewalls of physics. Nature has always imposed limits, and physics has spent centuries running headlong into them. The first and most famous is the speed of light. Roughly 300,000 kilometers per second, it is the absolute cosmic speed limit. Try to exceed it, and the equations collapse into paradoxes. Time itself twists, causality breaks, and the very logic of the universe unravels. No object with mass can cross that boundary, no matter how much energy you pour in. This is not a failure of technology, not a problem waiting for a clever engineer to solve. It is a structural barrier, woven into the geometry of space-time itself. For more than a century, it has stood as the ultimate firewall of physics, daring us to dream of faster-than-light travel, yet denying us the path. But it is not the only wall. There are also the energy thresholds. Every second, cosmic rays born from exploding stars, colliding galaxies, and the violent hearts of quasars slam into Earth's atmosphere with energies far beyond anything even CERN can generate. This fact has always reassured skeptics. If the universe itself has been staging particle collisions on scales we can barely imagine for billions of years without triggering catastrophe, then surely our experiments must be safe. And yet, the reassurance comes with a caveat. Cosmic rays scatter their energy across vast reaches of atmosphere, dissipated in randomness. The collisions at CERN are different. They are deliberate, concentrated, and exquisitely tuned. Energy that in nature diffuses across kilometers is here compressed into a pinpoint, forcing quarks and gluons into interactions nature may never attempt on its own. That concentration is what unsettles some physicists. And then there is the most haunting possibility of all: vacuum decay. It is almost too terrifying to contemplate. Imagine that our universe is not resting in the true lowest energy state, but balanced precariously in a false vacuum, a temporary plateau of stability. Under the wrong conditions, a violent collision or fluctuation could push it off that ledge. A bubble of new physics would form, expanding outward at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of nature inside it. Gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces, everything could shift in an instant. Stars, planets, even atoms themselves might dissolve. The universe as we know it would vanish before we even realized what had happened. Most scientists argue this is only a remote theoretical risk, and the cosmos itself seems to agree. For billions of years it has endured supernovae, black hole mergers, and collisions on scales beyond human comprehension without collapsing into a vacuum catastrophe. Yet the shadow of the possibility lingers. It is a sobering reminder that some barriers may not simply be decorative lines in nature's blueprint. They may be protective walls built into the fabric of reality to keep us safe from forces we are not yet ready to control. The exotic shadow zoo. As if the mirror particle anomaly were not enough, CERN's LHCb experiment has already begun uncovering creatures from a shadow zoo of its own. In 2022, researchers announced the discovery of 3 exotic hadrons never before seen. Among them was the first strange-containing pentaquark, a particle not made of 3 quarks like a proton, but of 5, held together in a bizarre new configuration. Alongside it appeared 2 tetraquarks, exotic cousins long suspected by theorists, but never observed until that moment. These discoveries landed like thunderclaps in the physics community, reminding us that the universe's hidden catalog is far from complete. For much of the 20th century, the story of matter seemed simple. Protons, neutrons, and electrons were the building blocks of everything: the desk in front of you, the stars above, even your own body. It was an elegant picture, clean and minimal. But in the 1960s, particle accelerators began tearing that simplicity apart. Out spilled a bewildering zoo of mesons, baryons, and quarks, particles bound in configurations that defied the tidy textbook model. The particle zoo, as it became known, rewrote physics overnight. The proton and neutron were no longer indivisible. They were intricate dances of quarks, governed by forces stranger than anyone had imagined. Now we stand at the threshold of another zoo, equally unexpected. Exotic hadrons are proof that nature's imagination outruns our own. If particles can be bound in such strange and fragile ways here in our universe, why not in a parallel one? A mirror world could host its own hidden menagerie, a shadow zoo teeming with matter that mirrors ours, yet behaves according to rules just beyond our reach. This is where speculation becomes staggering. Dark matter, making up most of the universe's mass yet invisible to light, could simply be mirror matter in bulk. Not a new substance, but an entire hidden cosmos made of exotic configurations we cannot yet perceive. Each time LHCb announces a new hadron, it is like pulling back another curtain, revealing that the inventory of reality is far more intricate than we ever dared imagine. The exotic zoo is not a sideshow. It is a roadmap. It tells us that what we see, the stars, the galaxies, the matter we hold in our hands, is only a sliver of what exists. Behind it, in a shadow sector, could lie mirror stars burning in invisible skies, mirror planets orbiting in darkness, and perhaps even mirror life, gravitationally tied to ours, yet forever unseen. The hunt for the mirror world. The pursuit of mirror matter is not confined to the tunnels of the Large Hadron Collider. Across the globe, physicists are quietly designing ingenious experiments to catch the faintest whispers of this hidden reality. Each approach is like setting a trap for a ghost, hoping to capture evidence of particles that exist beside us, yet refuse to reveal themselves. One of the simplest yet most profound ideas is the neutron disappearance test. Neutrons, when isolated, have an expected lifetime before they decay. But what if some of them are not truly decaying at all? What if they are slipping into the mirror world and then returning? The concept is breathtaking. A neutron here could oscillate into its mirror twin, vanishing from our detectors for a fleeting heartbeat of time, only to flicker back again. These disappearances would be subtle, measured in fractions of a second, but if observed, they would be undeniable proof that a parallel sector is tugging at our reality. Then there are the dark matter detectors, buried deep beneath mountains or hidden in old mines, shielded from the noise of cosmic rays. For years, these detectors, massive vats of liquid xenon or crystals, cooled to near absolute zero, have recorded unexplained anomalies, tiny flashes of light, or seasonal rhythms in detection rates that do not match the behavior of any known particle. Could these be the fingerprints of mirror particles brushing against our world, faint echoes of matter we cannot see? If so, we may already have caught glimpses of the mirror universe without fully realizing it. Astronomy itself offers another vantage point. If mirror matter formed stars and galaxies of its own, they would not shine. They would be invisible. Yet their gravity would betray them. By studying gravitational lensing, where light from distant galaxies bends mysteriously as it passes unseen masses, astronomers search for evidence of hidden structures. The strange, unexplained motions of stars and galaxies already hint at vast scaffolding of invisible matter. Could that scaffolding be built not of exotic unknowns, but of entire mirror galaxies orbiting alongside ours? Back at CERN, the next frontier is the SHIP experiment, search for hidden particles. Unlike the LHC's brute force collisions, SHIP is designed with surgical precision, built specifically to catch feebly interacting particles that might otherwise slip past detection. Within the next decade, SHIP could deliver the first clear evidence that the mirror sector is more than speculation. Beyond that lies the future Circular Collider, a proposed giant nearly 4 times the size of the LHC, with energies so high,
and the biggest particle hunting machine that has ever been built. The Large Hadron Collider, or LHC,
that mirror interactions might not just appear occasionally, but regularly. Each of these projects is another step closer to unlocking the door between worlds. But with every step forward, the same chilling question grows louder. What happens if we actually succeed? The delicate pane of glass. Picture tapping your finger against a glass window. At first, the taps are harmless, small pulses that seem to do nothing at all. Tap a little harder, and the glass vibrates faintly, its surface trembling but still intact. Yet anyone who has ever pressed too far knows there is a point, a precise frequency, where the glass begins to hum, quiver, and finally shatter into fragments that can never be restored. That is the fear some physicists harbor about crossing the mirror boundary. Each collision at CERN is like one of those taps, controlled, measured, seemingly safe. But what if one day we hit the resonant frequency of the universe itself? What if we stumble upon the exact energy density, the precise configuration of particles that makes the barrier tremble and break? The analogy is chilling because it captures both the fragility and the danger. Break the glass, and you cannot put it back together. Push past the boundary, and the universe may change in ways we cannot predict or undo. The laws of physics themselves might shift, constants could dissolve, and the stable reality we take for granted could give way to something alien, hostile, or simply uninhabitable. That is why this is not just a scientific question, but a philosophical one. Should humanity risk tapping harder? Should we be satisfied with standing at the edge of the glass, peering into the foggy shapes on the other side? Or does our nature compel us to keep pushing until we know, no matter the cost? If you were the Director General of CERN, sitting in that seat of ultimate responsibility, would you authorize the experiment designed to cross that line? Would you sign the papers that allow beams to intensify, energies to climb, knowing that on the other side of that decision could lie either history's greatest discovery or its final mistake? Would you risk destabilizing the vacuum itself in exchange for the possibility of rewriting our cosmic map, of solving mysteries that stretch back to the Big Bang? This is not just a thought exercise for philosophy students. It is the decision scientists inch closer to every year as detectors sharpen, anomalies accumulate, and ambition grows. And so we find ourselves trapped in a dilemma as ancient as humanity itself, the temptation of forbidden knowledge. From myth to scripture to science, we have always faced walls erected by nature, gods, or reason itself. Some walls exist to protect us, others exist to challenge us. The mirror particle boundary may be the most consequential of them all, the invitation of limits. And yet, perhaps these limits are not walls at all, but invitations. They look like barriers, immovable and absolute. But history tells a different story. The speed of light stands as a cosmic firewall, yet it did not stop us from exploring the stars. Energy thresholds, once feared as doomsday triggers, have instead opened doors into the deepest structures of matter. Even the unsettling idea of vacuum instability has not collapsed reality, despite billions of years of supernovae, black hole collisions, and cosmic violence. What looks like a warning often turns out to be a challenge. Every supposed wall in science has eventually revealed itself as a gateway, beckoning us to push harder, think deeper, and imagine more daringly. Think back, heavier-than-air flight was a fantasy until the Wright brothers lifted off. Splitting the atom was thought impossible until it lit entire cities and destroyed others. Mapping the human genome in a single decade was dismissed as arrogance until it rewrote medicine forever. Time and again, humanity has crossed lines that once seemed uncrossable. Each time, the world was transformed. Why should the mirror boundary be any different? Perhaps the universe is not protecting us from catastrophe, but testing us, daring us to rise to its challenge, daring us to prove not only our ingenuity, but our restraint, our discipline, our imagination. Limits are not failures. They are milestones. They are signposts that whisper, "You have reached the frontier." And frontiers, throughout history, are made to be crossed. The pursuit of mirror matter, then, is more than a physics experiment. It is a philosophical declaration about what it means to be human. We are explorers, dreamers, questioners. We have never been content to live within the narrow slice of reality visible to our eyes. We must peer behind the curtain, no matter how thick. We must ask if the darkness beside us is empty, or alive with unseen worlds. The ship experiment may give us answers within a decade. The next generation of colliders may reveal truths within a lifetime. And if one day the glass shatters, then history will record that we faced the abyss, understood the risks, and chose curiosity over fear. Because in the end, science has never been about safety. It has always been about truth. And the truth is waiting, just beyond the wall of mirror particles. We've stood at the edge of physics, watching reality flicker with hints of a shadow universe. Mirror particles, exotic hadrons, limits we were warned never to cross. All of it points to one truth. We are only beginning to touch the hidden architecture of existence. The question is not if we'll step further, but when. And when that moment comes, it could rewrite everything we know about life, matter, and the universe itself. So stay curious, stay daring, because the next collision may open the doorway. Subscribe, share your boldest theory below, and let's explore the unknown together.